The nature of choice. The nature of choice is a complex tapestry woven from threads of potential, intention, and consequence. Each chosen one embarks on a journey that marks them as outliers in a world that often thrives on conformity. This is not merely a path of distinction. Rather, it is a crucible wherein the chosen are tested, challenged, and ultimately transformed. Their unique abilities evoke a myriad of emotions from those around them: admiration, hope, envy, and, more profoundly, fear. This fear stems from an innate distrust of the unknown. For those who possess extraordinary gifts, the intersection of talent and choice breeds a deep-seated anxiety in others. To witness someone rise to greatness through means that seem unattainable can trigger existential unease, as it forces the onlooker to confront their limitations. Society tends to elevate the ordinary as a safeguard against the extraordinary. It creates norms and systems that maintain stability. Yet, when an individual has the audacity to break these molds, they tilt the balance of power, compelling others to either adapt or resist. Moreover, the chosen ones carry the weight of expectation. With each step they take, the stakes rise, and so does the scrutiny. Every decision becomes amplified, as if their choices serve not only their journey, but also threaten the fabric of societal norms. The chosen are often seen as harbingers of change, which is invigorating to some and unsettling to others. Power imbued with uncertainty is a potent combination, leading to a volatile mix of reverence and fear. Fear becomes not solely about the potential of the individual, but also about what that potential can unleash. Additionally, the sense of superiority that can arise from being chosen can breed resentment. Those who remain anchored in mediocrity may feel overshadowed, leading to a collective response that seeks to undermine the chosen. Such dynamics can escalate into hostility, as individuals may rally against what they perceive as elitism. This narrative often plays out dramatically in stories and myths where the chosen are positioned against a backdrop of conflict, not only with external adversaries, but also within themselves as they struggle against the shadows of expectation. The complexity of the chosen's journey is also marked by their own internal conflicts. They wrestle with the implications of their abilities and the responsibilities accompanying them. The burden of potential weighs heavily, and relinquishing one's autonomy for the greater good can lead to profound isolation. In a world that prizes individualism, the chosen must contend with the paradox of being celebrated yet profoundly alone. Their brilliance often illuminates paths unseen, yet casts shadows that can be terrifying to behold. Ultimately, the fear of chosen ones encapsulates a universal struggle, the tension between aspiration and anxiety, between hope and despair. They challenge the status quo, igniting sparks of transformation that can either enlighten or destroy. In their reflection lies a mirror for society, urging all to confront their own fears and desires, to reevaluate the choices made and those that remain unmade. The nature of choice, then, becomes not just a personal journey, but a collective awakening, a truth that can be as daunting as it is liberating: the burden of expectations. In the landscape of achievement, those who stand upon the pedestal of distinction often find themselves enveloped in a cloister of both reverence and resentment. The bright light of their success casts lengthy shadows, drawing the gaze of society, a gaze that is equal parts admiration and envy. This duality creates a complex web of expectations, where every accomplishment spawns a fresh layer of demands. The accolades that once ignited a sense of pride transform into a chain of obligations, binding the chosen to a relentless pursuit of excellence. Within this realm, the expectations imposed by society can feel insurmountable. Each milestone reached is not merely a point of celebration, but a new starting line, where the distance to the next achievement seems ever expansive. The external pressures are tangible throughout, from the probing questions of curious onlookers to the whispered assessments that echo in the corners of every gathering. The chosen are scrutinized under a microscope. They understand that a single misstep could not only tarnish their hard-won image, but could also reverberate chaos through the lives of those who, in their wake, seek to dance in the spotlight. As these individuals navigate the treacherous waters of expectation, they often battle an internal tempest. The external fictions of success can radically conflict with their own personal aspirations, creating an unsettling dissonance. Behind the polished facade of accomplishments lies a labyrinth of self-doubt and anxiety, festering in the shadows. It's not uncommon for a moment of vulnerability to erupt into a torrent of self-criticism. Am I truly deserving of this recognition? They might wonder, as they scroll through social media feeds that frame their lives as flawless. Each divine moment surfaces alongside a haunting reminder that even the brightest stars can feel adrift in the dark expanse of expectation. Moreover, with each stride they make toward meeting societal ideals, they can inadvertently alienate their peers, those who share dreams, yet find themselves stagnated in a cycle of unfulfilled ambition. Envy surges as a powerful undercurrent, shifting friendships and sowing discord in relationships once grounded in camaraderie. What was once a mutual bond may devolve into competitive strife, as the burdened champions become unintended targets of disdain. It often feels easier to cast stones at the pedestal than to grapple with one's own aspirations. The weight of expectation transforms into a grotesque double-edged sword, capable of both elevating individuals while simultaneously isolating them. Loneliness creeps in, compounding the burden. The chosen often find solace only in the company of those who share their struggles. In hushed conversations, they congregate, trading tales of insecurities and quiet rebellions against the tide of expectations that wash over them endlessly. In these circles, they seek refuge and understanding, savaging the belief that they are alone in their burdens. While the applause may surround them, it is within these sacred confidences that they momentarily shed the heavy cloak of the ideal, longing for moments of authenticity amidst the relentless pursuit of perfection. Unmatched power. The phenomenon of power in its many forms manifests not only in the grand gestures of leadership, but also in the subtlety of everyday interactions. It weaves a complex tapestry that binds those who wield it and those who are compelled to follow. But the true essence of power often lies shrouded in layers of fear and misunderstanding. The gifted, those who have been singled out for their remarkable traits, wield influence that extends far beyond personal ambitions. Their essence radiates a charisma that naturally draws others in, igniting both admiration and trepidation. Consider the chosen ones, not merely as leaders, but as catalysts for change, some adorned with the cloak of wisdom, others with the badge of unique talents that defy the norm. These individuals are often seen as enigmas. Their decisions evoke feelings that linger long after their actions have faded from view. Their intellectual prowess can analyze situations in ways that leave the average observer bewildered, while their emotional intelligence allows them to penetrate the barriers of the human experience. Yet this very strength can cast a shadow of fear among those who find themselves unable to comprehend the depths of their abilities or the motivations behind their actions. As the gifted navigate their journeys, they soon come to realize that their power does not operate in a vacuum. Each word they utter can send ripples through the fabric of society. Their choices may lead to unforeseen outcomes that affect countless lives. The fear that gnaws at the hearts of those surrounding them often finds its roots in this unpredictability. It is not merely the power itself that unsettles, but the haunting questions that linger. What will they do next? Who will be bothered by this force, and who will be buoyed by it? The unknown consequences of their capabilities often loom larger than life, painting a landscape rife with potential peril. Even in casual conversations, the chosen can shift dynamics in imperceptible ways. A nod of understanding, a knowing glance, can signal approval or disapproval that alters a collective response. The chosen wield the ability to inspire loyalty and devotion, yet this power can slip into manipulation, evoking resistance from those who feel their autonomy undermined. They become figures of fascination, even as they inspire mistrust. This paradox often isolates them, leading to a loneliness that undercuts the very gifts that set them apart. In the broader context, this power reshapes landscapes, social, cultural, and personal. The waves it creates challenge the status quo, often leading to innovation that threatens existing hierarchies. Change is a disquieting force that causes discomfort, and the chosen become unwitting harbingers of this disruption. Their power transforms not only the world around them, but also reshapes their identities, entrusting them with responsibilities that they never anticipated. Thus, the dance of power and fear unfolds, an intricate interplay that defines their existence and the environments they influence. Isolation in greatness. The path to greatness is often paved with trials that few can comprehend. As the ambitious rise to overcome their hurdles, they quickly realize that each step forward isolates them from their peers. It is not merely the elevation of status that creates distance, it is the profound shift in perspective that accompanies their ascent. While striving for excellence, the chosen individuals often find themselves alone atop their self-made pedestals, gazing down upon the terrain they once navigated alongside friends and collaborators. This vantage point offers clarity about their goals, yet distorts their view of the relationships they once cherished. As envy simmers beneath the surface among former companions, it taints the air with an unspoken tension. The once joyful laughter that filled shared spaces is replaced by silence. The chosen may try to bridge this gap, extending invitations to share in their achievements, a well-won prize, a promotion, with hopes of rekindling old connections. However, each gesture may be met with a cautious distance. A lingering suspicion often shadows such interactions, as those left behind wonder if the reached-out hand is genuine or merely a means of showcasing success. They perceive the facade of greatness, not the struggle endured to attain it. Over time, the diverging paths become more pronounced. Conversations that were once lively exchanges dissolve into monotone pleasantries, devoid of the depth that once characterized them. It is a disheartening realization. The people who shared dreams and ambitions now seem like distant echoes. The isolation deepens when the chosen begin to realize that their victories, rather than fostering camaraderie, have erected invisible barriers between them and those who once walked alongside them. The allure of recognition has a price, the fading of intimacy. The challenge shifts from conquering external obstacles to grappling with internal turmoil. These chosen individuals are often haunted by an inexplicable feeling of loneliness, a nagging sensation that accompanies accolades and praise. The bright lights of success may dazzle the world, but behind closed doors, they wrestle with a profound emptiness. Who can they confide in when even the act of sharing their triumphs feels tinged with self-centeredness? Their victories, meant to be celebrated, increasingly become burdens they carry in solitude. In navigating this emotional landscape, many chosen individuals seek new connections with fellow visionaries or mentors who share a similar journey. They crave authenticity and recognition, someone who understands the nuanced intricacies of their path. In these interactions, there lies the promise of empathy, a balm for their isolation. However, the risk of building new relationships comes with its own set of challenges. These fledgling connections can also be cloaked in envy or insecurity, mirroring the very dynamics they sought to escape. The cycle of emotional distance can repeat, underscoring the profound irony of greatness. It is both uplifting and isolating. Thus, the chosen stand at a crossroads, grappling with the paradox that greatness necessitates, a bittersweet dichotomy between personal achievement and the longing for genuine connection. The pursuit continues, yet in every stride toward recognition, they must ultimately navigate the labyrinth of their solitude, forging a path not just for themselves, but for others who wish to walk beside them again. Fear of the unknown. The concept of stepping into the unknown often brings forth a haunting sense of trepidation, both for the chosen ones and those who orbit their existence. To walk an unpaved path is to tread beyond the comforting contours of familiarity into the vast, ill-defined terrain where shadows dance and possibilities intertwine with peril. Each step taken by these individuals stirs the air, vibrating with the weight of their ambition, and as the dust settles, it reveals the footprints of change, an unsettling reminder that stagnation is often more palatable than the upheaval of progress. Those who stand on the periphery of this transformation, friends, mentors, or even rivals, grapple with the implications that arise from the chosen one's pursuit of greatness. The winds of change do not merely shift the landscape, they erase long-held assumptions and challenge the established order. For many, the path of the chosen is akin to waking a slumbering beast. There is an instinctual fear that burgeons, a fear that their movements could incite chaos within the delicate balance of societal structures. As ambitious individuals ascend the rungs of power or perception, those beneath may feel their stability shaken, as if the ground beneath them has turned to quicksand. The fear is palpable. It becomes a living entity, coiling tightly around the hearts of those who witness others harnessing their potential. Resentment seeps into conversations, whispered in dark corners, and festers into hostility that can lead to sabotage. The need to cling to the familiar drives some into a frenzy, causing them to lash out with words laced in envy, treating the chosen one not as a beacon of inspiration, but as a harbinger of uncertainty. Each act of defiance is a manifestation of a primal, collective anxiety surrounding change, the fear that the ambitions of a few could eclipse the dreams of the many. Moreover, the unpredictability of the chosen one's journeys entails a host of unforeseen consequences, often felt in rippling effects through the communities they leave behind. The aspirations that once seemed contained might, overnight, spill over like an erupting volcano, reshaping the foundations of societal norms, stirring the pot of established hierarchies. As these daring souls garner strength, they often unwittingly challenge the status quo, provoking responses that range from admiration to outright aggression. The ripple effects do not simply dissipate. They can become tidal waves, crashing over those who resist the flow of change. In this tumultuous environment, the chosen ones must often cultivate resilience, standing firm against the tides of fear and hostility that surge around them. Their journey becomes a test of fortitude, where the pursuit of their vision collides with the insecurities of those who cannot fathom the notion of venturing into the great unknown. Sensing the trepidation they evoke in others fuels their passion, yet they must navigate the labyrinth of emotions surrounding them with caution. The very ambition that propels them into greatness is met with apprehension. They are both celebrated and reviled, icons of hope and symbols of fear. Thus, their journey continues, intricately woven with the threads of courage, conflict, and the relentless drive to transcend perceived limits, changing the narrative. In the tapestry of human experience, the chosen individuals emerge as vibrant threads, weaving new patterns into the fabric of society. Their presence disrupts the monotony of established narratives, challenging the status quo and inviting others to reconsider their beliefs. This transformative power, however, is not without its challenges. Those who have grown comfortable within the confines of traditional narratives often view these disruptions as threats, provoking a fearful resistance that has deep roots in human nature. What drives this fear is not merely a rejection of the unfamiliar, but a profound attachment to predictability and stability. The established order offers a sense of security, an assurance that the world, despite its complexities, operates within a known framework. To those hesitant to embrace change, the chosen appear as forces that might unravel the very fabric of their reality, rendering their beliefs obsolete and their identities questionable. This trepidation can give rise to fierce opposition, a cacophony of voices seeking to drown out the new vision with the clamor of established thought. Yet the chosen individuals carry within them the spark of possibility. They see the world not as it is, but as it could be, an inspiring vision that includes a greater narrative of hope and progress. Their challenge lies in finding the delicate balance between their innovative aspirations and the fears of those who cling to the past. Each conversation becomes a dance, where empathy must guide their words, where understanding replaces antagonism. Navigating this landscape requires more than mere courage. It demands a profound resilience. The chosen must be willing to endure the friction of skepticism, to cultivate patience as they nurture seeds of change in resistant soils. They learn to listen, not only to the cheers of their supporters, but also to the apprehensions and anxieties of those who feel threatened by the potential upheaval. In doing so, they can address the root of fears, transforming resistance into dialogue and fostering a greater understanding of the profound changes at stake. Moreover, the chosen must recognize their own vulnerabilities. The weight of such responsibility can be isolating, leading to self-doubt and fears of inadequacy. It is in these moments of uncertainty that they seek solace within their vision, drawing strength from the knowledge that true transformation is rarely painless. They come to understand that disruption, while unsettling, often heralds the dawn of a more enlightened era. Through resilience and compassion, the chosen illuminate paths previously thought impassable. They invite others to envision a future where possibilities abound, where the unfamiliar transforms into the attainable. Their journey transcends the individual, becoming a collective awakening, urging society to shed its limitations and embrace a fuller, richer narrative. In this way, they forge connections and cultivate spaces where old fears are confronted, allowing light to seep into the shadows of doubt, and sparking the courage necessary for change to take root. The failures of the chosen. In the face of failure, those once celebrated as paragons of success become subjects of intense scrutiny. Each misstep is dissected, every flaw magnified, as observers find a grim solace in the downfall of their idols. It is a disquieting truth. When the extraordinary falter, the ordinary are quick to emerge from the shadows, seeking evidence to rationalize their own shortcomings. The failures of the chosen serve as a mirror reflecting humanity's collective insecurities, transforming admiration into a gruesome spectacle of schadenfreude. Consider those exalted not merely for their achievements, but for their intrinsic otherness, the qualities that elevate them above the mundane existence most lead. These chosen, cloaked in an aura of invincibility, raise expectations to such heights that their misjudgments can only be met with disbelief. Each mistake, however minor, becomes a cosmic event in the eyes of many, setting in motion a chain reaction of speculation that whispers questions. What went wrong? How could they not foresee this? The more prominent the figure, the more acute the dissection, as the public rushes to grasp the vulnerability that these once revered individuals reveal. This societal response stems from a fear-rooted belief that perfection is attainable and that stumbling is an admission of failure. It encapsulates the fragile balance of idolization, an unspoken contract that the chosen must forever dwell in the realm of excellence. When they betray that trust, their fall sends ripples through the landscape of ambition, prompting individuals to confront their unresolved fears of inadequacy. In essence, the chosen become unwilling scapegoats for the everyday anxieties of onlookers. The repercussions extend well beyond the individuals at the center of criticism. Others, once inspired by their journeys, may retreat into the shadows, questioning their own paths and chasing dreams that now seem even more distant and fragile. This creates a cycle of withdrawal, a cycle that feeds on the very failures it seeks to comprehend. Visions once sprawling with potential are now boxed within the parameters set by the pitfalls of the celebrated. Moreover, societies wrestle with a paradox. While they laud resilience, they often vilify its manifestation, expecting the chosen to embody an unwavering spirit that refuses to bend. The discourse surrounding failure often neglects the humility that can stem from it, the lessons learned, the courage to rise again, and the poignant reminder that imperfection is a universal trait. The notion that the chosen can and do fail should be a testament to their humanity, not a siren call towards destruction. Instead, observers grapple with the duality of admiration and fear, the admiration for aptitude entwined with the fear of being found lacking. This relentless dichotomy creates a breeding ground for hostility, where the fall of one is seized upon as validation for the insecurities of many. It reinforces an unsettling truth. Even within the embrace of greatness, doubt festers, whispering that perhaps success had always been an illusion, and that even the extraordinary are merely human, riddled with vulnerabilities that resonate far too closely to the lives of those who watch from the sidelines. The weight of responsibility. As dawn approached, the first light of day spilled over the horizon like an artist's brush, painting the canvas of the sky in hues of gold and pink. Yet, for those elevated to the position of leaders, the dawn brought no comfort, only an ever-growing weight upon their shoulders. Each day, they rose not merely to greet the sun, but to face the weighty responsibility bestowed upon them, a mantle stitched with the threads of expectation. In their hearts, the embers of ambition flickered, yet they were tempered by the chilling winds of obligation. The eyes of many bore down upon them, filled with hopes and dreams, their aspirations woven into the very fabric of the leader's being. To be chosen was a privilege, undoubtedly. However, it was also a burden they had to carry with grace. Every decision made was scrutinized, dissected, and analyzed by those who stood behind them, and the fear of misstep loomed large. As leaders, they found themselves at a crossroads, often grappling with the dichotomy between personal conviction and collective hope. The ideals they championed, integrity, courage, resilience, were not just empty mantras. They were lifelines for those who clung to them in turbulent times. Failure to espouse those values, to embody them authentically, felt akin to betrayal. It was a treacherous tightrope walk, with the ground below filled with the potential pitfalls of disappointment and disillusionment. Every room they entered held the weight of anticipation. Friends, followers, and even strangers looked to them not only for guidance, but as mirrors in which they hoped to see their own strength reflected. It was within these moments that the dull ache of pressure transformed into something sharper. Fear of letting them down gnawed incessantly. The leaders often retreated into their thoughts, searching for solace in solitude. Here they contemplated the essence of their duties, the depth of their promises. Yet each time they sought clarity, doubt would creep in, whispering bitter insecurities. Were they truly deserving of such a role? Could they wield their influence in ways that would uplift rather than undermine? In the silence of their minds, the answers floated just out of reach, elusive and tantalizing. They sought counsel from mentors, individuals who had walked similar paths, hoping that their wisdom might provide a roadmap through the labyrinth of responsibility. It was in such exchanges that the leaders began to understand a crucial truth, that imperfections are inherent to the human experience. Greatness was not about the absence of failure, but the courage to stand back up, to mend what was broken, to learn and grow in the face of adversity. Amongst their fears, a spark began to ignite, a quiet resolve that responsibility could also be a vehicle for profound change. Embracing the human experience, with all its frailties and strengths, could create a genuine connection. Rather than shunning their fears, they could transform them into fuel for authenticity. Rehabilitation became part of their narrative, a potent reminder not only for themselves but for those who looked up to them, that the journey was as significant as the destination, and in that truth lay both hope and unity. The reactions of the ordinary. Amidst the cacophony of life, the chosen emerge like celestial bodies casting off shadows that drape the ordinary in a mixture of light and darkness. As they tread upon the path carved by their own ambitions, the world around them pulsates with unfiltered reactions, an emotional spectrum that ranges from fervent admiration to caustic disdain. Each reaction reverberates in a dance of energy, shaping the chosen in both subtle and profound ways. Admiration, the most flattering of responses, often hails from those who yearn for their own brand of significance. In their eyes, the chosen embody an aspiration that feels partially unattainable, yet tantalizingly close. These admirers can be quick to elevate their heroes, celebrating each triumph with a fervor akin to a religious devotion. They watch, eager for every victory, every scrap of progress, as though it were a testament to their own potential. The chosen, in turn, thrive on this validation. It nourishes their spirit, fueling their drive to further distinguish themselves in a world rife with mediocrity. However, not all reactions are so benevolent. For every voice that cheers is another that scoffs, steeped in skepticism or outright disdain. This faction considers the chosen's rise as a betrayal of the ordinary, viewing their aspirations as an infringement upon the shared struggle. Mistrust simmers just below the surface, manifesting in barbed comments and veiled criticisms. The chosen, often unaware of the depth of this discontent, can fall prey to an insidious doubt, questioning whether their ambitions are worthy or if they've unwittingly constructed a world that isolates rather than unites. The dynamic becomes more intricate in communal spaces, where mergers of admiration and disdain clash like thunderclouds on the horizon. Here, the ordinary are not mere spectators. They are participants in a societal theater where characters emerge from every corner, some emboldened to cheer, while others find solace in tearing down what they cannot build themselves. It becomes a perilous game for the chosen, who often feel the need to navigate this emotional maelstrom with caution, fearing the wrath of disapproving glares or dismissive whispers that follow their every move. An unpredictability breeds an electric atmosphere where one glance can uplift, while another can strike like a whip. The chosen may find themselves walking a tightrope, aware of the heavy gaze of expectations that linger over their head like an ominous cloud. It is this tumult that cultivates their fear, not just of failure, but of the alienation that accompanies the pursuit of significance. Here lies the paradox. The very qualities that entice admiration can also breed animosity, turning the spotlight into a double-edged sword. Within this intricate emotional landscape, the journey of the chosen is fraught with complexity. They oscillate between moments of elation and despair, each reaction sewing the patches of their psyche into a quilt that is as beautiful as it is contradictory. Everywhere they turn, the ordinary respond with the intensity of their emotions, each wave of approval or disapproval a ripple affecting the delicate balance of purpose and fear that defines the selected few in a world that often struggles to comprehend the magnitude of their aspirations. Embracing the fear. Fear can be a formidable barrier, a seemingly insurmountable wall that stands between those deemed chosen and the rest of society. It is a fear born not of tangible threats, but of the intangible, misunderstandings, societal comparison, and the whisper of envy. Those labeled as extraordinary often find themselves facing a barrage of scrutiny, and this scrutiny can stem from the very individuals who are captivated by their brilliance, yet burdened by their own inadequacies. What is it about greatness that stirs such trepidation? It seems that when one shines brightly, the shadows lengthen for others. The radiance of a chosen individual may highlight the dullness of those who feel trapped in mediocrity. Instead of celebrating exceptional achievements, society often reacts with suspicion or disdain. This fear is deeply rooted in a sense of self-preservation. By attempting to diminish the light of others, individuals unwittingly seek to protect themselves from confronting their own potential. This reaction is not merely a social flaw, but a psychological phenomenon. Social comparison theory suggests that individuals derive self-worth by comparing themselves to others. Those comparisons can inspire or dismantle. When faced with greatness, the instinctive and often negative response can be to reinforce social hierarchies, pushing the extraordinary further from the common. The impulse to diminish what we do not understand can lead to a toxic environment where admiration is twisted into resentment. Yet, beneath this fear lies the potential for profound transformation. Instead of allowing the shadow of jealousy to fester, there is room for an inspired awakening. Society can engage in a paradigm shift, refocusing the lens through which we view greatness. Recognizing that the chosen are not our adversaries, but rather mirrors reflecting our untapped capacities, could pave the way for personal and collective growth. When we shift our perspective from envy to inspiration, fear can morph into motivation. The journey begins with acknowledgement, understanding that fear is a natural response, not just for the chosen, who may grapple with isolation and the weight of expectations, but also for the common individuals harboring feelings of inadequacy. This mutual recognition helps bridge the gap, paving the way for dialogue and empathy. Instead of creating divides, we can celebrate unique talents as gifts that can elevate the collective. This shift requires courage. It involves embodying vulnerability and allowing oneself to be inspired by the brilliance of others rather than intimidated by it. By stepping into the light of our fears, we transform them into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Embracing these fears invites us to redefine our relationships, not only with those we once considered distant, but also with ourselves, as we permit the flame of inspiration to ignite our dormant aspirations. In this journey toward understanding and transformation, a new narrative emerges, one where both the chosen and the common are seen as integral parts of a larger tapestry, woven together by shared experiences and aspirations. It is this collective path toward embracing both fear and greatness that holds the potential for genuine progress. For when one rises, we all rise together, the legacy of the chosen. In examining the legacy of those deemed chosen, one can't help but delve into the myriad of emotions they conjure within society. Each individual, marked by a unique burden or gift, must navigate an intricate web of reverence and resentment, a duality that speaks volumes about human nature itself. This legacy often takes form through narratives woven into the very fabric of culture, coloring the perceptions of generations to come. The stories told about these individuals, both lauded and vilified, become the threads that stitch together the collective identity of a people. As the dust settles on their journeys, the tales we share about these chosen figures distort and evolve. Misunderstood heroes may transform into demigods in the retelling, their triumphs exalting the very virtues we aspire to embody. Alternatively, those who falter, becoming cautionary tales, linger in our consciousness as stark reminders of the dangers inherent in wielding immense power or influence. This duality ensures that their stories do not fade but rather bloom anew, serving to educate and inform as they pass through the hands of storytellers, historians, and parents alike. Yet, even as these legacies endure, they provoke fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the potential for greatness or havoc. Society often reacts by either embracing the lessons embedded in these legacies or recoiling from the very existence of the chosen. For every person inspired to redefine their own limitations by the acts of those who came before them, there exists a counterpart, someone who shudders at the thought of confronting their own undefined potential. This fear, palpable and often unwarranted, may stall progress and stall dialogues that might otherwise lead to acceptance. The impact of these narratives can be transformative. When individuals are willing to confront the uncomfortable truths woven into the legacies left behind, society can engage in a powerful act of collective introspection. The stories that emerge from this reflection can shape educational curricula, influence policy decisions, and redefine social norms. The blend of triumph and failure reveals life's unpredictable and multifaceted nature, guiding future generations in their quests for meaning and purpose. In some cases, the legacy of the chosen ignites dissent, birthing movements that question the very foundations upon which society stands. This upheaval often makes way for discussions that tackle systemic issues, revealing the cracks that must be addressed rather than ignored. Through the lens of those who have been chosen, we gain insight into our own misconceptions, biases, and long-held fears, urging us to navigate the uncharted territories of what it means to be human. Even amid the ambiguity that surrounds these legacies, there is a pressing beauty to behold. Each story emphasizes the interconnectedness of humanity, serving as a reminder that while fear may loom large, the potential for growth remains boundless. In acknowledging and embracing the complex legacies of the chosen, we forge pathways toward understanding and acceptance that empower future generations to carve their own identities amidst the echoes of those who dared to walk before them. A call to action. Fear is a powerful force that shapes how society perceives those who are different, especially the chosen. This apprehension often stems from ignorance, a natural human reaction to the unknown. When we encounter something unfamiliar, our instincts can lead us to protect ourselves by creating barriers instead of bridges. For the chosen, those who have been granted unique gifts or insights, the burden of this fear can be debilitating. To foster empowerment, society must transform this fear into understanding and support. Imagine a world where the strengths of the chosen are not only acknowledged, but celebrated. In many cultures, strange abilities invoke curiosity and admiration when they are not shrouded in fear. By encouraging open discussions about the gifts that the chosen possess, communities can begin to dismantle the stigmas that arise from misunderstanding. When individuals share their experiences and challenges, others can find common ground, creating a tapestry of human experience that highlights our shared struggles and aspirations. Dialogue can become a conduit for empathy, allowing the chosen to showcase their capabilities and the broader society to witness the value they bring. Education plays a critical role in this transformation. By integrating teachings about diversity and the unique contributions of the chosen into school curricula, young minds can be molded to appreciate differences rather than fear them. What begins as an academic initiative can evolve into a cultural shift, affecting how generations view strength and capability. Schools can serve as incubators for understanding, where students learn not just about acceptance, but active support. Instead of establishment fostering an insular culture, they can inspire cooperation and inclusivity, empowering all individuals to explore their potential, regardless of their chosen status. Moreover, when we discuss the chosen and their place in society, it is essential to emphasize the responsibility that comes with their roles. Empowerment is not merely about recognition, it is also about leadership and guidance. The chosen have the ability to inspire others, paving paths in uncharted territories. They hold the key to fostering hope, not only within their immediate circles, but across entire communities. Organizations must harness this potential, providing platforms that enable the chosen to lead initiatives aimed at increasing awareness and bridging divides. When the chosen step forward with purpose, they can catalyze change and rewrite the narrative surrounding their identities. Furthermore, society's support should extend beyond mere acknowledgement. It calls for proactive, systemic changes that empower the chosen by creating safe environments where their talents can thrive. Policymakers can design frameworks that recognize and harness the strengths of the chosen, integrating them into core societal functions such as community development, public service, and creative expression. Equipping the chosen with resources and opportunities not only enriches their lives, but also enhances the collective experience, illustrating that their contributions benefit us all. Embarking on this journey requires collective will, a commitment to challenge our fears, uplift the chosen, and reshape our world into one of understanding where empowerment becomes the new norm. When we embrace our differences, we unlock new possibilities for connection and collaboration, fostering a society where everyone can thrive. As we reflect on these emerging themes, consider how you can play a role in this transformative journey, nurturing understanding and support in your own communities.